In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the potentiometer project using block code. First thing we're going to do is create a global variable that holds the position of the potentiometer. And we're going to want that to be an integer number. So that's a number without any decimal points, because the Arduino is going to read in the potentiometer as a value between 0 and 1023. So let's rename this to pot position for potentiometer. I'm going to make it a number. And if you're following the Arduino source code that's getting generated, this is saying int as opposed to number. That means integer, a number that doesn't have a decimal point. And we're going to give it a starting value of 0. Next thing we're going to do is set up serial communication between the microprocessor and your laptop. This way, the microprocessor can send information back to the laptop to display for you to be able to see. So you'll be able to see what values it's getting from the potentiometer. And to do that, we're going to use this command here. Then the final thing, we need to tell it what kind of board we have, and that we're going to be using 2 pins. A digital pin and an analog pin. The digital pin is going to be pin 13, and we're going to connect that to an LED. So that's going to be an output pin. So we'll rename that to LED. And you can see now we've got a pin. Pin 13 has been set to output. Now we're going to set a pin for input for reading from the potentiometer. And we're going to put that here and rename that potentiometer. And now we've got an input pin that's tied to this A0, our analog input. Okay. Now we grab the Arduino blocks. So stuff that goes in here, blocks in here, will be run during this setup function. So they'll be run once and then never again. So when the program first starts, this stuff happens, the stuff in run first will happen, and then everything in the loop forever part will just keep happening over and over again. So first thing we're going to need to do is read the position of the potentiometer. And we're going to store it in this pot position variable. So set pot position to read from this analog sensor, which is the potentiometer. Then we're going to print the value of pot position on our laptop using the serial communication that we set up here. And that's this. And what we're going to set, what we're going to print, is just the value of pot position. And we want it to add a new line after every line that it prints. So this way they don't all get stuck up next to each other all on the same line. Now we're going to use the value of pot position to determine how fast our LED is going to blink. So okay, and if you remember, in the previous circuit we did, we made an LED blink. And the way we did it was we set the pin controlling that LED high, waited for, in the case of last circuit, 2 seconds, turned it low, and then waited again. We're going to do the same kind of thing. We're just going to let pot position determine what that delay is. So first thing we'll do is write to the digital output for the LED and set it to high. And then we're going to delay. And instead of waiting 1,000 seconds, we're going to wait for as much time as the pot position corresponds to. And that's going to be a number between 0 and 1023, which means the most we can delay is for about a second. Then we're going to set the LED low and wait again. And that's it. So when the program starts up, when you download it to your Arduino and then give the Arduino power, it will create this variable, set up serial output, define these 2 pins, do nothing else, and then go through this loop forever. It'll see what the pot position is, send that value out to the serial port and your laptop, and then set the LED high, wait a little bit, set the LED back to low, wait a little bit, and then the whole thing starts over again.